What's going on, y'all? It's Cool Colas here, and you're tuned into another cool video. So, I have another interesting topic. I know I say this every single video, but every single video is interesting. So, yeah, I do have a very interesting topic for you guys today. And what I want to talk to you all about is why you should stop teaching people and assisting people from a place of revenge trauma. So, like, in other words, stop helping people from a place of, I went through this, and so you need to go through this as well, too. So, this is a kind of like a loaded topic, so I'll try to go into as much of it as possible without, I guess, feeling like I didn't cover all of like the correct basis, like allowing you to like leave feeling like I didn't cover all of like the correct basis in the subject matter. And first of all, like where this stems from, my stance on it, and I guess like all the things encompassed in the way we think about the subject. So, where do I think this stems from? Clearly, it's a person who struggles to succeed in something or to accomplish something or to I guess like to get to the goal that they need to get to, and that could mean any different thing. So to give you an example, let's say that I am trying to go to school and I don't have any money, so I have to work 3 jobs to be able to pay for my classes when I go to school and still be able to be a full-time college student. Just giving you an example. And then you see another student and they're struggling in the same way that you did. So what you do is you're taking a knee, you're looking at them in the face. I mean, obviously you're not doing that because a college student is going to be like grown as hell, but you're almost like treating them like a child, like childlike, and saying, well, it's going to be tough, and that's just what it is. I went through this. This was hard for me, so you got to go through it too. So it's that type of mentality. It's not really like, first of all, it's not constructive or productive. It's not really helpful to the person. It's also not kind. I mean, it comes from a place of I really don't care. It's almost as if like there's some type of secret like enjoyment from, I guess, like treating people in that type of way. And then there's also this idea of it just says a lot about what you're still going through and what you're still feeling. So what I've noticed is that people who generally don't exemplify empathy in the way that they need to in order to help others are one of two things. One, they're either they either haven't really been through anything serious that denotes, or I guess like entails for them to be able to react in a way where they feel the need to help others, or they have not really learned from the experiences that they've been through. So they just kind of look upon others and they say, well, I struggle with this, so other people should as well too. So I think a lot of people probably would hear this video and they would disagree with me because, from their perspective, they're like, well, you have to work hard to get somewhere, and you have to go, like pain is supposed to teach you things, which I partially agree with both statements. So you do have to work in order to get to where what you want, but it's not just like work, right? There's a lot of people who are working very hard on things that they want to achieve and want to accomplish, but they don't necessarily achieve the goal they need to achieve. But there's a lot of reasons why that are accompanied with that. Number one, it's not just working, but also having like the correct direction, like working in the right direction, like knowing what goal they want to get to and how they can get to that goal appropriately. Second thing is like some level of manifestation, some level of belief that you can get there, some level of saying like I can, and like having that type of mentality. And the third thing, I'm just going to be honest, and people are going to be mad about this. I don't care. It's just the truth. Most people are going to be in their feelings about, the fact that I'm even saying that this is a thing, but it's a little bit of luck too. A lot of things happen. A lot of things are unexpected. A lot of things like take off for people at some points, but don't take off for others at other standpoints. And there's a lot of different factors and things that can, be that can kind of go with that. But again, I want to be contextually accurate. So This is like in the context of anything that you're trying to accomplish. When you have like a big win, and it's that big win that you're showing people. A lot of people don't see all that other stuff that kind of went into it. They just create this image of, I worked hard, so that's why I'm here. But that's not always the case. There's a lot of other things that kind of go with this level of hard work that you're claiming that you do. So that's why I partially agree with the first statement. It's like working hard is definitely important, but it's not the only thing. And I don't want to sell people a dream to say that that is it. Like that people just toil away at whatever, and then all of a sudden, poof, like they have actually succeeded. That's just not it. So if other people, if people mean by working hard that all those things are encompassed, I guess I would agree. But I think that there's some level of context or contextual accuracy that needs to be expressed in these things, other than just saying, "Hey, I just worked hard," because to me that's kind of folly. The other thing that I would say is people learn things through pain, or pain teaches you things. I agree that pain does teach you things. You have to learn about what the pain is teaching you when you are going through something. I definitely agree with that. Now, what I don't necessarily agree with is the fact that you have to go through pain to learn something. So I agree with pain teaches you things. I don't necessarily always agree with you have to go through something painful to learn. I don't agree with that. I think that we have a very simplistic and primitive way of doing things. We always have. I think that when we look at like when people are going through things and think, instead of feeling empathy, sometimes what we do is we look at people and we say we don't really have time for that because we did this, we did that. We went through A, B, C, and D to get to this point. So somebody else, they got to be able to understand that it's going to take struggle, it's going to take sacrifice. So if they're feeling pain, they need to just like learn from what that is. And I understand that standpoint to a certain extent. Like I agree to a certain extent, but I think that there's a much more constructive way and fun way to teach people. I just think our society isn't set up so that we can create that type of environment for people where when they do learn things, it is fun, or it is natural, or it is something that can be a good experience for them. So we in turn believe that pain is like one of the biggest is like the biggest teacher. So what I mean by that is like we're working within a lot of different things. First of all, working within like time constraints. We're working in like this like weird hustle culture vibe that's kind of going around, like the idea of needing to hustle to be able to survive, or needing to hustle for the sakes of simply just achieving some form of wealth or some form of like material item. So there's also that ideal as well too. And I think that there's a lot of other things, but and this is all encompassed in capitalism and the flaw of capitalism as we see it right now. And that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. But what I'm getting at is we don't really create an environment that helps people to succeed in a way where it doesn't have to be a big dramatic like struggle or something that we kind of just shrug our shoulders to and say, well, it is what it is, and kind of have that type of mentality. I think as humans, first of all, the thing that we need to understand is that we are codependent beings, but the way that our culture is set up, we make ourselves seem like we're supposed to be more independent than codependent. Now, I'm not trying to say like to leech off of people, so I'm not really making that suggestion. I'm just saying that we should really try to create and cultivate a society where like we're helping and assisting each other, and then people are going to be able to give that back. And so I think we should always try to work to make the world a better place for people who come after us. Like make it a easier place for them to live and to be able to survive and to be able to thrive and whatnot. Now, easier being like they're more willing to work and do the things that they want to do. Because if we make a society where people have time, they like a lot of people are worried about, I think, laziness. I'm not necessarily worried about that. I'm worried about continuing to force people into situations where they're going to have to do anything in order to be able to survive, and sometimes they're not able to adhere to their self-awareness. You give a person time, they do the exact thing that they want, they're happy, they don't burn out as quickly, or they don't burn out at all, and they do things that are actually going to be beneficial to society too, because not only are they helping themselves, they're helping like other people as well, because they know that they're not on that like weird like time constraint of this thing's got to be paid right now. People don't get money unless like they have a job or unless they have government assistance, yada 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 yada. There's no like way for somebody to be able to capitalize on creating a better society, because they're so busy trying to like I said, earn money or hustle for the sake of hustling. So I say that to say you shouldn't teach people from a place of revenge trauma, because the bottom line is, one, it's selfish. Two, it shows that you are still working through things, but you're pretending to be this guru who has achieved things, and you're making like trauma your actual personality in actuality. So you just want to make sure that you are doing things from a place of kindness. If you're going to help people, then actually like literally let that help look like help. I think that people should just work to try to make things like more enjoyable in this world, because there's a lot of stress and there's a lot of things that people have to go through in order to get to the place that they want to get to. We're talking about people who actually, have self-awareness, people who are motivated, people who want to get to the goal that they want to get to. I think that that should be encouraged. I think that people should try to do everything they can to help others, like of course to their not necessarily to their own demise or anything like that. And they need to, obviously be like in tune with their own self-awareness and knowing their limits of what they can and cannot help with, obviously. But at the same time, like, I just want people to stop doing things from a place of, I went through this, so you got to go through this too. Or I was able to survive this, so you should be able to as well. Because also the other part of that's actually inaccurate is, if we're just talking about logic here, is we're all different beings. So our capacity to be able to take things and to be able to understand things, comprehend things, is all completely different. So when you just kind of just whatever everything, then you're expecting that you're basically faulting somebody for not doing something the way that you did it. When the next person, like who's nothing like this person that you're describing, they may be able to function and do things differently, operate differently than you do. I just think we all have different levels of understanding, and without empathy, we put everybody in the same box, expecting them to be able to function and thrive and do things the same way. Now, I will admit there is a lot of like information out there that can help people to get to their level of self-awareness, but the problem is like discernment and things like that. Like if you go on the internet, a lot of people always say like you can research things. Like there's a lot of things that you can just go on and you can just research it. And if you're not using those resources, what are you doing? But there's a lot of scammers on the internet. There's a lot of people who put misinformation, quote unquote misinformation, like on the internet. That's a whole nother topic for another day. There's a lot of people who just put things like on the internet just for the sake of being able to have that level of publicity, even if they're not knowledgeable. So I think that this trend of misleading can make one's level of research misleading too, which therefore can waste a lot of time. And other people are kind of putting you on their own scale when they believe that you should do something or shouldn't do something. But I think that process can be very difficult for people, in the long run, especially when you have other things that make that, very hard. Again, I probably am speaking from a place of being like too empathetic in some people's minds, but I think I'm just seeing this just from a logical standpoint. I think that, one of my biggest goals is I want to be able to help people, and I want to be able to, cultivate an environment where this process isn't so cumbersome, and it isn't so difficult, and it isn't so hard, for people to be able to just reach their level of self-awareness, or just be able to be successful in whatever it is that they want to do. Anyway, I see my time is running out here soon. I just wanted to give this message to you all. Thank you for tuning in. If you want to follow me on any of my social media handles, it's Kolas Creative for my Instagram page, or for my Twitter. You can follow me at my website, www.creativekolas.com, or you can follow me on my author page on Facebook at Cool Kolas Author. Anyway, I appreciate you all checking out this video, and I have a lot more to come, and keep tuning in. I will check you all out later, and I hope y'all enjoy y'all's day. So, peace out.